Let's go. Got my wine. I'm ready to go.
NERDSoul.
Late ill kid at OneYoungsta holding it down, bringing that street geek and nerd soul. What is up, my people? Today, coming with another wonderful episode of Talk Shop. We have a great artist here to get things ready, get things started. We are having a whole bunch of fun in this Corona timeline. So, I would like to introduce to you the one and only artist, illustrator, creator, all like sick booty juice drawing.
Professional asshole.
Rob Crump.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Cheers and salute.
Since I'm introducing you, he's one of the dope folks that I'm having on the show. Rob Crump, tell people who you are and what you do.
Well, as you said, my name is Rob Crump, professional illustrator, character designer. I'd say full-time multimedia designer as well. So basically a jackass of all trades. So yeah, do everything from web to character design to motion graphics, editing, background design, storyboards, basically hired gun. I'd say a mercenary penciler. So
I like that.
Little Rob Liefeld to it. Except for I don't have as many pouches.
Whoo, boy.
No, don't get me wrong. I love his work. I think a lot of his work was a big inspiration to me as a kid. So
It's weird. I have kind of like, I never was a fan of his work even back then, but you can't like discount the wave, the wave it made. Like that thing crashed over the 90s like nobody's business.
He took an opportunity and he hit the iron when the iron was hot.
Yeah. And
he ran with it. He produced. Oh, dude, he ran with it. As soon as he got that opportunity, you got to give the man respect for the fact that when he got the opportunity, he just sprinted. He fucking sprinted. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of errors in his artwork, but you know what? When you have a tight deadline, you really can't go back and refine and polish things.
Yeah, because a lot of people don't know about those deadlines where it's like,
oh, dude, it's crazy.
Can you finish this really today?
Crazy.
And it's like, today?
Oh, dude, there's been plenty of projects where I'm not, I had fun doing the project, but I'm not proud of him because I wanted to polish him more. So I totally understand how he could, mess up that one trademark Captain America piece that he has with the big huge vest. Dude, it happens. It's an oversight, but I mean,
I was just watching
the guy who compared him to Kurt Cobain of comics, didn't you?
Oh,
that was a good piece. The guy did his work.
Yeah, that was funny. But I was even watching some Dragon Ball like Revival of F or something like that, or Dragon Ball Z Broly or whatever.
Yeah.
And I saw this one shot of like Vegeta's foot, and I was like, that joint looks like it's broken.
Dude, time and budget.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
I was like, his foot look weird.
But see, that's
they're like, don't worry about all that.
Yeah, but a lot of people bust him for that, or bust any animation or one. Like, oh, look at this detail. Yeah. What they don't understand is time and budget. You don't have time to go back and fix these things. That's why it drives me. You can never say animators are lazy or any production team is lazy.
Oh, no.
You're only as good as your art director, and you're only as good as your producer who has the budget, who puts down the budget and the schedule. You can't blame the artist, and you can't ever say they're lazy, because even when it's limited, oh god, dude, it's a lot of fucking work.
Yeah, and even as an artist, sort of on the other side with like advertising and stuff, I've seen tons of stuff where people will bring me something and say, we want you to redo this because we hate what the other person did. It was so horrible, blah, blah, blah. And in my mind, I'm thinking, no, I don't like it. I wouldn't have done this.
Yeah.
But I don't know the circumstances around this.
Usually it's them.
Because I've had those situations where it's 2:00 and they know you're leaving at 4. And they're like, can we get this before you leave? So we don't know.
Dude, it's usually that the person who asked for you to do it the last minute is the one that screwed up. Majority of the time.
Yeah.
You know that's true.
So to your career, What are some things that you've worked on that, were like, penciler for hire, some stuff that kind of helped build you up through your career?
Well, there's a lot of them, man. I would honestly say the bigger challenges that I had that put my balls on the fire were really the ones that actually helped me grow. Like, I remember when I was working at Freeverse Games, I remember this one game that we had to do. I remember that meeting. Oh my God, I was so heated when they said it. They said that we needed to create 65 characters in a matter of, I think, 2 months, a month or month and a half, 2 months. It was a grind.
Wow.
65. It was 3 artists. And so
that's pretty heavy.
Dude, it had to be painterly. You know how you see my stuff? It had to be like that, more realistic. So it takes time. So we grinded on that. So that, I think, was a huge improve. It helped me. It was one of those milestones that helped me push me to the next level, because it made me think quicker. It made me move faster. It made me look at anatomy in a different way. It made me improve it. Every artist, I think, goes through that. If you continue challenging yourself, you hit these milestones, and you'll hit many of them. You'll hit many of these at many times with different challenges. That was one of them. I think the very first one, though, was when I was an intern at Imagination Studios. Shout out to Brandon Schultz, Mike Davis, Mark Davis, the Mad Twins.
Oh, I ain't drop a couple names up in that piece. All right, that's a
dude. They're out in LA, man. I'm sure you'll run into Brandon one day. I'm sure you'll run into one of the twins one day. They're out in LA.
Yeah.
And also Self. Joshua Self. And that was another place. That was my intern. I did my internship there. And the first project, I came at the tail end of it, was doing a animation with Blade. This was back when Blade Trinity came out. And they actually did the animations for this animated short that they had in the soundtrack.
So
I was in the tail end of that, but the entire time there was a roller coaster where, you're wet behind the ears. You just got out of college. You're still in college, and you're going to hop right into the industry. So that was another one of these milestones where I didn't even know what to expect, and everything they gave. And this was a small studio, so they gave me work. So I was working with clients. Actually, I remember Della Reese's husband. Della Reese's husband. Yeah, I met her. He actually commissioned us to do a music video, and me and Kwabena actually did the storyboards for it. And we actually went to their house and actually got to meet Della. She sweet woman. God bless her soul. Sweet. It reminded me of my grandmother. That was another one. Like, first time getting a little bit of that Hollywood feel, and then my first time being on Warner Brothers lot during this internship. Everything, all this first things of doing.
It does kind of like edge you up a little bit. Like,
dude, it's kind of like crossing over from being a fanboy who doesn't know anything really about the industry, and then going right into it. You're like, oh my God. Like, I remember the first time I met LaShawn Thomas, I was like, didn't know what to say to them,
first time I met LaShawn Thomas.
Cool dude.
Oh boy, I was straight up starstruck, because he did a talk at LMU, and I happened to be there, and here he comes, and he's out like in the hallway, so he's walking my way, so I had to stop him and say what's up, and I was just like, yo man, I've been digging your work forever, and come here, because I know.
Hey, you're awake, huh, buddy? Yeah.
You gonna be cool? He's like, I'm gonna be cool. So anyway, guys, NERDSoul Light, he's in the house, or is he?
That's cool.
All right, cool. I got him.
It's cool. It's fine. I can totally understand.
LaShawn Thomas, meeting some actors and stuff out here, doing stuff either for press or for art, has really like opened my perspective on kind of like where art or media takes you and stuff like that. And yeah, I can agree. It does have this weird space where you're kind of fanboying, but then going into like changing into like, okay, I'm part of this. I'm doing this.
It lifts the veil.
Yeah, and
That's
it's like
what it
slowly you're like, oh, I'm part of this because you know I came out here, out here LA, meaning to be. I wanted to pretty much take my artistic style to a different level. I wanted to be an art director for some large place. You know what I'm saying? And when you start, working and stuff, your goals kind of change. But I finally got to a point where I was like, okay, cool. I think I made it. Yeah. So I feel like I made it. So I'm like, cool. All right, I made it. But there's so many steps. Like even like you're talking about where you're like, okay, what do I want now? Do I still want to do this?
It does. It changes a lot. For me, like I remember, I think into my mid 20s, I basically saw the writing on the wall for me personally, that animation industry wasn't going to be enough to, be able to support a family or whatnot. So I had to basically widen my horizons to web design and video and whatnot. So it does, and you're absolutely right. When you hit milestones, you start thinking in a different way. Your mindset changes, whether it's maturity or whatever your scenario is at that point. It can push you in different directions. But what I did find out though was when I stopped making animation and illustration my main income, I was able to get back what I wanted, what I really wanted, and what I missed when I was a kid. Freedom to do whatever the hell I want. Freedom to do what I want, pick what I want to do, and draw what I want to draw. Because a lot of things in my career, I was hungry. Like I was willing to draw in any art direction. I was willing to emulate styles, everything, and got to a point where I wasn't happy with that. So now it comes down to you do just majority graphic design and multimedia. Now I can actually pick and choose what I want to do. Yeah, and I want to. Go ahead. And I just wanted to quote Joe Mad. This was one of the best quotes I ever heard from a professional. It was Joe Madureira. He said, "Pick the projects that you're passionate about, because you will bring the best out of you when you do. If you're doing it just for money, you'll get to a point, but you're not going to give them your 100. You're not going to get your best out of them
because you're not excited about it.
You're not excited because drawing, creating, whatever you're doing, you have to be interested in it, or it's a grind. I'm sure you probably deal with that. It's a fucking
man.
It's a grind.
Oh yeah, you're good. He's not hearing it. He's cool.
Oh, okay, good. Fucking grind. It is when you're not interested, especially creatively. When you're not interested in it, it is a grind. It is the hardest job in the world, and a lot of people don't understand that. It's like, oh, you're drawing, you're having fun. Like, yeah, if the project's awesome and I'm interested in it.
Yeah,
But if you're not, because it's a fucking grind. You're grinding gears to get this thing done.
Yeah, because there's I was trying to explain. This guy approached me on LinkedIn. It was like, hey, I'm about to graduate. He was in school for graphic design. He was like, I'm about to graduate. And see, I never went to school for graphic design. I just kind of kept taking clients and kept saying yes and kept saying yes, I can do this and things of that nature. And it just kind of happened. And he was asking me for like notes and ideas and this, that, and the third. And the main thing I told him was, you have to remember that it's not yours. Like, this is not your stuff. Yeah. That's the most important thing.
And that's a problem because you can get emotionally attached to it.
Yeah, this isn't your magazine. This isn't your poster. This isn't your print ad. This isn't your photo shoot. This isn't all the stuff I worked on. This is your website. This isn't any of this. Yeah. It's not yours.
Yeah.
Your job is to try to help them, help them get their idea onto paper or onto, Instagram or to, whatever it is. So that's something that they need to understand, I think, the most, because there's a lot of people that are like artists that like, hey, I want to work on creator-owned stuff, and that's it. And I try to make sure like they know, like, look, if you want to work on creator-owned only, then you have to know.
Not in there.
Yeah.
It's not money in it.
Yeah, you got to know, like, yo, it's going to be a grind. You're going to be on your own, and it's going to be it. But yeah, I definitely feel that Joe Mad quote. Now, I did have another question for you when it comes to how I met you, because I met you on Facebook, I think.
Of course, like everybody else does.
It was either Facebook
Probably some
or
stupid ass
Instagram.
posts I put.
Well, no, I saw your art somewhere. I was like, whoa. I was like, it just has like this real cool energy behind it. There's always some kind of like quirky joke or something fun with it as well. And I loved it. So if you could, in your own words, describe your style when you're working on your own, properties or your own sketches that are just fun.
I remember somebody asked me that a long time ago. I used to say, they would say, like, is there a name for your style? I said, oh yeah, it's juicy. I would say, I mean, it's clear you can see that, where my influences are in my work. It's definitely, Jamie Hewlett, LaShawn Thomas, Joe Madureira, Chris Pacello, Studio Trigger. I would say high energy, because that's usually, it's funny because I think whenever someone asks me that, I think about like all my interests, and a lot, like my favorite character is always high energy characters. So everything in my artwork is high energy. Like whether my favorite MC is Busta Rhymes, especially his earlier work, that's what drove me into hip hop.
Man.
Fisheye Lens, his videos, high energy.
Shouts to Busta.
Yeah, for real, man. Big influence. He got me interested in hip hop. B-boying, breakdancing, pop and locking is a big influence. Like Ultimate Warrior is my favorite WWE character. So that should tell you right there where my mindset is that I am like a 3-year-old or 5-year-old pumped up on cocaine and sugar. So that's how my imagination is. It's hard to say what I would call it, but it's easy to say where the influences come from.
And
those
are some dope influences. Those are some dope influences.
Well, I try to do things different than what I usually do before. That's why if you ever look at my work, I try not. It never repeats.
Yeah, it's very rare that I see you get into like you're just drawing one thing. And there's some artists that I know that do kind of like draw one thing and kind of hit that note. And I mean, it looks great, but they kind of like just hit that note and keep hitting that note.
They pigeonhole themselves, and that comes down to where my career was, where I was, I wasn't getting a lot of work, so I was always hungry, and I was willing to do really any job that came to me. So I wasn't. So everything. So one day I would, like, I remember my first job in New York. I was doing Polly Pocket and Barbie. I was doing direct-to-DVD for Polly Pocket and Barbie. Then a few months later, I was doing Umizoomi, and then I was doing Nate the Great, and then so it switched all the time. So for me, and also the way my art teacher also in high school taught us, we would always do different things every week. So for me, it was like the big emphasis. The way I developed as an artist was you don't do the same thing over and over again, because what you do is you pigeonhole yourself, and you also put yourself in a comfort zone. And if you want to develop as an artist, and I give this advice to everybody, whoever asks me, is don't stay in your comfort zone, because I don't care how many times you draw that character over and over again in that same position. Yeah, you got great at drawing him in that pose, but you really don't understand what the hell you're doing, because you're not doing it in different angles. You're not doing it in different scenarios. You're not doing it in different ways.
Yeah, good point.
And I'm finding myself in my artwork that I'm finding that I'm putting myself in a comfort zone when I draw hands. I'm finding I'm putting them in the same poses and whatnot. So I have to change that a little bit. But other than that, I try to do something different every time, just so I can stay interested. Because again, my imagination is as hyper as a little kid.
So yeah, you gotta. I'd agree. You definitely have to figure out a way to, even if you're stuck at like a certain specific, company where they always have a very strict, style guide. Yeah, you have to figure out a way to have fun, because if you're not going to have fun,
Exactly.
it's gonna hurt you.
Well, you're absolutely right on that part. But I remember Mark and Mike Davis said this one thing to me and I asked them because they used to work at Primal Scream in Atlanta early in their career, and they did a lot of great work for Cartoon Network in the mid 90s, late 90s. They did a lot of Primal Scream did a lot of work. And the one thing I asked them was like, what is the advantage and disadvantage of working at a studio? And what they said was brilliant. When you're at a studio for that long, you lose your individual style. You adopt the studio style. A lot of people don't understand that. That's why if you can tell, if you go on Instagram, you can tell which one of these artists that like have the huge following and they're really talented. You can tell which ones work at Disney feature. And that's true.
Yeah, you don't
even have to look.
You kind of get a feel from their stuff.
You can see it, and that's because they work at that studio, and they're demanded, and that's their expectation is to actually follow that art direction and style. And if you're there for 5-6 years, you're gonna lose your individual style and just draw what they want you to draw, and draw in that art direction. Which is nothing wrong with that. I mean, hell, I would love to have Disney on my resume. That was one of my childhood goals.
And trust me, hey, there's been a couple of times when I've been out here and I've seen the Mattel or the Hasbro or the Disney come down the line, and I've been like, I wonder what that check is like. You know what I'm saying?
It's good because you have a steady job, and a lot of kids don't understand this, and I'll say this right off the bat. If you work in animation, especially New York animation, it's never a permanent job. So you better not step on any people's feet, and you better make as many friends as you can.
Yeah, and matter of fact,
quality work.
Yeah, speaking of that, I was talking to Shauna Mills offline one time, just talking about kind of like the struggles of New York animation, and then of course her making the transition to Los Angeles,
which I'm happy she did. She deserved to go out to LA and do what she's doing. She's great. I think storyboards was a great move for her.
Yeah, and then just the way the work is there as opposed to here, and even though I'm from Virginia. Well, no, I forgot. You're from Virginia too, right? Are you from Virginia?
My
your
dad,
people are from Virginia.
Wait,
yeah.
My dad was born and raised in Charles City County, Virginia.
So your dad was from Charles City.
My dad's family. So big up to Charles City County.
What up, Charles City?
Yeah, dude. I know all about Virginia, man. Me and my brothers used to spend every summer, at least 1 month down there every summer. So I know about Water Country. I know about Williamsburg. That's where everything is at.
Yo, man, Williamsburg is a trip.
Yeah, dude, Bojangles. Yeah, dude, I know.
Yo, shouts to Bojangles.
So I know, man.
But even for myself, there was a large change in like
culture.
Culture. Yeah. Culture, then work culture. Could you speak to a time when you had to deal with a work culture shift in your art, and did it color your artwork, or did it become a large issue for you while you were working? I mean, you don't have to name the places, but you know what I'm saying?
Just the work culture, I think.
Like a struggle for you, I guess.
Art direction, everything, that was never an issue for me. The only issue I have is politics.
Okay.
I was never the type to play into those games.
Okay.
I always, I did have my friends, and I did always defend them, and I always will. But other than that, I mean, I really had no vendetta against anybody or anything like that. It's just sometimes there's politics, sometimes there's some crazy stuff, and sometimes you have to back your friends up.
Yeah.
I'm not going to name the place, but it's just it sucks, and sometimes with anything, any decision you make, you have to roll with the consequences that come with it. But as long as you did the right thing at the end of the day, that's really what it is. But politics is I think is the biggest, and I can't say
especially in a studio, especially in a studio or a
it's
corporate setting.
But you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Especially in a studio or a corporate setting, there's certain hierarchies or certain like friends or certain like ways people do things, and you don't want to like rock things too far to the left or right. Or
I've seen at one place where people were trying to get other people fired so they can get their friends in.
Yes, that happens.
I've seen that. I've seen people sabotage other people. So I've seen people sabotage an entire production.
Wow.
Just to try to get control. Either they had control or they just sacrificed the entire production. Oh, dude, yeah. That's why whenever I see people comment about stuff on animation and they have no clue what they're talking about, I'm just like, dude, you don't. And I'm just laugh. I get annoyed and I laugh at the same time. Like, you don't know what you're talking about because you don't know what goes on behind it.
Yeah, because I only know some of what goes on between people that I've talked to that are like writers or directors or writers or directors or storyboard artists or something like that. And then also knowing my side from like kind of like the corporate the corporate design side. Like, yeah, whenever there's like creative differences or like, man, why didn't this get a third season? It's usually not because the show was bad.
It's because somebody wanted to shoot themselves in the foot.
It's usually not because, hey, this is a bad show. Nah, it's usually not that.
Yeah, dude, that's the first thing I asked. Like I remember, like looking back when I was in college when Vader Zim was big. And that got canceled, and it was such a big thing. The only thing I could, after like my years of experience working and everything, I always ask myself, like, I wonder what happened behind the scenes there.
Yeah.
Something crazy had to happen. Like, that was a very successful and very marketable product.
They did come back on Netflix and do like a movie.
Did an awesome job.
Oh, matter of fact, Shauna worked on that.
No, she's still an artist.
So yeah, shouts to Shauna Mills.
Yeah.
But you always wonder, like, I wonder what happened.
Dude, it's
because it was pretty successful. Crazy. A lot of people liked it. It did sell merchandise. So you're like, what went on?
Why would you shoot the cash cow?
Yeah, something is not right. So yeah, that's one that like really hits you. Now, I guess my last question, at least for now, until we get up and do some stuff again. My last question circles around like your work and kind of like what your roadmap is going ahead. Like what you're working on now, and what do you see yourself working on or towards in the coming years? I can't even say months right now because we are locked down.
This damn virus postponed a lot of crap.
Yeah, Corona hurt a lot of people, boy.
Dude, I have high blood pressure. I have hypertension, so I'm definitely taking this as serious as I can. I'm not scared, but I make like Xanatos and Dr. Doom. I make sure I have contingency plans. Yeah, I wonder how many people will get that reference to Xanatos. Right now, like I said, like I said before we started, I'm working with this children's book author. Hopefully, all the work that I've done for her comes into fruition down the road. Other than that, I do have after I finish this one illustration for We Call on Monsters, basically it's a drawing contest. I'm just basically doing an illustration. I just posted up the tones of it today. Other than that, it's just I'm going back into my intellectual property and I'm developing it now. I'm thinking of doing a comic book. I'm thinking about actually pitching it. I'm not releasing anything till I do copyright and get that out the way, because piracy.
That's a whole thing. Like, dude, piracy is at like an all-time high these days.
It's that print on demand shit.
Yo, son.
It's that print on demand crap. You know, you got people like Chris Brown that think it's nothing, but yet they'll have the nerve to bitch about Napster, or people downloading. You know what I mean? They're the type of people that'll bitch about that stuff, but they have no problem ripping off artists.
Yeah, it's like it's a situation where it's only important if it happens to you.
Because it's called selfishness and self-centered. Also, we're in an industry where these young cats don't understand their value. These younger kids don't understand. If you can draw, you have a very close-knit skill. Not a lot of people can do what we do. Think about, all you have to do is think about it back in high school. Who was the best artist in your class? Usually like only 3 or 4 people out of how many? 100, 200 kids?
Because when I was coming up, my boy Chris that runs KURO Brand does stuff on the channel.
Yeah.
Him and I would be like the only people drawing. And I remember when he moved, shouts out to Chris, hopefully he sees this. When Chris first moved to my neighborhood, I was like, who does he think he is? Right? I draw.
Yeah. Seriously.
Get out of my school.
It's a small knit community. Even when I was growing up in high school, in high school, I remember when I was a freshman, the upperclassmen, I'd say there was a good 8 really super talented people. I think one person actually went to go work for McFarlane Toys. In my graduating class, we had, let's see, about 5 to 8 people that were just as talented as I was. Out of 400 students. Yeah, out of 400, 500 kids. 8 out of 400. So you're talking about a very small demographic that has that skill. And it irritates me when I see kids on there charging very little. It is a scarcity skill. Just like a plumber and just like an electrician. You're talking about a very centralized skill that not a lot of people have. Stop underselling yourself. And I think that's the biggest problem with our society, is that every one of these kids sell themselves short. They do it for basically free. Okay, let's get in. All right. Okay. If I can, even though I'm doing this, keep in mind, wait. Even though I'm doing this contest, I'm doing this because it's a fun challenge. I don't have to do it. I'm just doing it as a fun challenge. But yes, when it comes to other kids, it's very underappreciated because we all change ourselves, and a lot of it, and we are humble. We are very humble. We don't want to feel like we're ripping people off, and we don't feel like we want to overcharge people. And that is an issue. And then with people who do stand their ground, and like that, we look at them. A lot of us look at them like, oh, look at this cocky bastard. When they're not, they just know their value, and that's what they're trying to. That's what they know what their worth is. You know what I mean? Word up, I feel you. It's crazy. It's a crazy world. Okay, then I do want to get into this real quick about the artist community and this continual sort of race to the bottom. Whether it's photography, they're desperate and hungry. We are in an industry that, to a certain degree, runs on desperation. It is. They know you've been trying to make it for 5, 10, 12, 15 years. And a lot of these clients, especially like these rappers or whatnot, and not just rappers, rock bands, basically musicians, they sense that energy and they know they can take advantage of it. Yeah. And it's especially weird because to a certain degree, someone's taking advantage of them, and it's like they're passing the energy on. Pecking order. Yeah. And that's what it is. Poop rolls downhill. Oh, dude, I would love to destroy Fiverr just on that. It's weird. Oh man, Fiverr. It comes down to when people. Sorry for cutting you off. It comes down to when you have these younger kids know what their worth is and they stop accepting that shit, things will change. Yeah. I think one of the best things this art community does is they stick up for each other when it comes to IP theft. When it comes to IP theft, when you go on Society 6 or go on these other pages that you see they're ripping off, Loish or whatnot, and they call them out, and you'll get like 100, 200 at least people hitting that site up and getting off.
Yeah,
I think that's the best.
That's a good thing.
It is. That's an awesome thing. If you could take that energy and actually put it towards knowing their value as well, you'll see a bigger change. Because people will start second thinking that.
That's what's up.
And for Chris Brown, he can just kiss it. He can just kiss the fast part of my ass.
That man, it's weird. It's like that whole crew of like musicians / entertainers that are like J. Cole got caught up in some mess where I can't remember if he like lightly lifted something from someone. You got the Kardashian crew is always stealing some kind of artistic or art direction or something, always stealing something. And it's like the thefts happen, but it's like Miley Cyrus stole that, what was it, like a cake or something like that? Somebody like made a cake. So it's like there's always something happening, and it's weird how like quick it just like it's just taken. And it's like
because they think that they can get away with it. And the problem also is that a lot of these kids a lot of us don't have lawyers to send cease and desist.
Yeah.
So when it comes to Miley Cyrus or it comes to Chris Brown, it comes to any of these people, they have a team of lawyers. Either their label provides it or they just have, they're blessed enough to have the money to have their own attorneys. And they know that they can do it. And
to a certain degree without any real blowback.
Exactly. Like I see how some of them are slick and they try to do it. It's like, but again, I worked in this industry long enough where I could sit there and say, yeah, if that person had enough money, they can get a lawyer and really ream this fucker.
Yeah, there's been I'm pretty sure you and I have seen cases online where it's like, if this lowly, artist in high school or college or somebody that's like doing
really had an attorney
grinding, really had a real attorney or like two attorneys, they could really make things bad for XYZ actor or singer or whoever.
That's like those two cases. That's like those two situations. Again, I bring it up Chris Brown, where Chris Brown used that one guy who did the Miles Morales cosplay.
Oh.
If that dude had a lawyer, he could have got his ass. He could have got him. And that other guy who does the Teen Titans fan pics where he has the Teen Titans actually not in costume, but they're actually dressed in like regular clothes. I forgot. It always looked like he draws them like in a hotel situation or whatnot.
Trying to think who that is.
You know what I'm talking about though, but Chris Brown used his images, illustrations to promote his clothing brand. And it's like, dude, get a lawyer because you can get his ass.
Yeah, and the thing is like, we just simply can't afford them.
Yeah, that's the idea. They think that they think that all these, artists are poor or broken. Some of us, for example, some of us just want to spend our money on rent, clothes, and food
and gear. Like you need more gear. You need like a new camera.
So we don't have the money to pay, $20,000 right off the bat for, just a cease, or not even $20,000, like $5-6,000 just for a cease and desist letter.
Yeah, for someone to go after somebody when they're gonna drag you out in legal fees and all kinds of crazy.
Because you have to do a cease and desist letter first.
Yeah.
And if they don't obey that letter, then you could sue them.
Yeah.
And that's money.
Yeah, a lot of money. Because I went through a situation a couple of weeks ago. I think you probably saw the post. I went through
that news thing that used your clip. Yep.
See, I was trying to be. I know things behind the scenes that I did not put in that post, but they knew about a week ahead of time that they were going to use my stuff.
Yeah.
And
that stuff is planned. It's not like,
I was just like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Come on. And I mean, I said it in the, you know, I said it in the post when we were talking about it. Someone made a comment about, you know, like a mistake or whatever. And I was like, if this was Disney, it would not have happened. If this was Warner Brothers, it would not have happened. If they used a clip of The Dark Knight, you best for sure believe it would have said courtesy Warner Brothers.
Yep.
Or if they used a clip from Endgame, you best for sure believe.
Yep.
It would have said courtesy Marvel Entertainment or Disney or whatever. But I was just like, man. And that's just something simple. What about, you know, like every day for like, you know, you go to conventions, they got, you know, the print on demand, the posters, the t-shirts, or you got, you know, larger artists taking stuff and just putting it on their website.
Oh, dude, I see it all the time.
Or people getting you to draw their album cover and for like scraps. It's crazy.
Dude, that...
Mm-hmm. And it's just crazy.
It's wild, man. It's wild, and a lot of it comes down to they have this impression that you know, you and I are broke, and we're not going to be able to get legal representation to have them stop it. They just feel like they can get away with it.
Yeah,
and that's what most people think of it that way.
Yeah,
I'm petty. I'll take your ass. I'm like the Tiger King to a degree, where you owe me some money, I'm gonna take you to small claims. I'm gonna take you to small claims court if I have to.
Yo, man,
or get the freelancers union to help me. I mean, I'm not gonna let you take advantage of me in that way.
Yo, that Tiger King. Matter of fact, we'll end it on this.
Okay.
Final thing for this interview. What did you learn from the Tiger King documentary?
Dude, no one to just take a L and just move on.
Yeah.
If he showed how pettiness can really break it down. Because if he didn't do that rabbit thing,
man,
that's what screwed him.
Well, I mean, he was also like shooting her, like little doll versions of her all the time.
Oh, that's like, fine, but when she shoot him about the rabbits, that was it. Nail and coffin. Yeah. She wanted $1 million for that.
Yeah, the rabbit thing. That was like the. And it's funny because at the first episode, I was like, dude, let it go. Even though she did mess up mad money for him.
She did, but at the same time, it's you. You know what it is? Pick your battles wisely. That's the best way to say it. Pick your battles wisely. Like I said, if he didn't do that rabbit thing, he wouldn't have gotten sued. And she, as soon as that happened, just like a tiger, she went for the jugular.
Yo,
and she was not letting go.
She did not let that joint go.
No, he thought he could just keep switching the ownership all the time, and she just kept pressing, and she just ruined him to the point where she gave him the rope to hang himself. And that's really what it is. I mean, sometimes you just got to let things go, move on, and just manage your business.
Yeah, he should have just like pretended like she didn't exist.
But that whole thing, like, everything in that documentary was wild. from drug dealers to
there's like drug dealers,
for governor and president. Oh my god,
dead ATF agents. Like that joint is crazy,
dude. That one producer was right. If that was a reality show, he would have been bigger than the Duck Dynasty.
Yo, you ain't.
He would have been huge.
And
I think he set that fire.
Here's the lesson I learned. I'll say that with that guy with the reality footage. There are two types of people when it comes to data. People that have lost it all, and people that back up everything. And people that have it. Because I was like, how did you have all of that on site? Dude. Like, you're not backing that up to the cloud or something, or something
keep in mind, all this stuff happened not that long ago. Like I'd say in an 8-year time period. So external hard drives were around.
Yeah, this wasn't like the 90s.
Dude, as a production rule, and you know this for a fact, you have a backup of a backup of a backup.
Yeah.
No matter what.
Yeah. I got tons of hard drives. I'm looking into getting a Drobo for like a couple of grand. It's like 800, terabytes or something.
It just doesn't add up. It doesn't add up. All our stuff's in there. Like, really? You didn't have hard drives backed up? The guy's retirement was in that. And dude, if I put my retirement
say he dropped to his knees.
Dude, if I put my entire retirement in any production, you're goddamn right. I'm going to spend money on hard drives and have every night I'm backing it up.
Yeah. Every night. Every night. I mean, it might suck because it'll be all raw files and we'll have to edit it again, but I will have it.
At least you can backtrack.
Yes, at least you can backtrack. It'll suck because you'll have to edit all that mess again, but at least we have it.
Exactly. And it's never gone.
Man. Man. Whew. Well, guys, thank you for hanging with us. Thank you for meeting Rob Crump. Thank you for, giving him some time to talk about his experience, stuff that he's worked on. We got some life knowledge and all that good stuff. Before we get out of here, Rob, where can the wonderful people find you? Check out your artwork. Buy your 2 books? You got 2 volumes out, right? No,
I got 1 book out. What I'm going to do this week is I actually found some extra skate decks that I made a few years ago. So I'm going to sell those. You can find me on Facebook. Just look up Rob Crump, or you can find me on Tumblr or Instagram at CrumpSmash, same as Twitter.
Ooh, Tumblr. Still
on there. That's a digital portfolio, man. It's easy. But like I said, I am working on my own IP right now. I'm just getting that geared away. But again, this virus and hunkering down and having a family life kind of slows that part down. But yeah, I am working on stuff now. I am getting some opportunities are coming up, and I'm just getting myself prepared for them. So
cool.
Yeah.
So this was you got any shout outs before we get out of here?
See, VJ Commando, Garrett Donahue, Elliot Byrne, John Wang, my family, Shaz, and like I said, I already shout out the Blockheads crew: Brandon, Mark, Mike, the Mad Twin.
Wow, Blockheads,
dude, that's Imagination Studios was Blockheads.
Yeah, and, wow.
Like I said,
I remember seeing that art like a long time ago.
They're still working.
Like, this is sweet.
They're still. That's not gone. They're still.
Oh, so it's not gone. It's not dead.
It's in the lab.
Okay.
Last time I spoke to them, it's still in the lab. So I'm pretty sure they're not going to let that dissipate. So
yeah.
Like I said, Mark.
I have the feeling, Bianca, without knowing those guys, I have a feeling that's one of those things where, whenever you get to like a deal point, somebody wants too much control, and they're like, no, we'll wait.
That's their baby. That's their baby.
Yeah, it's like.
So they're still.
I've had a couple of
grinding
situations where people want to do deals, and I'm like, I kind of held off. So I got a feeling on that one. If that's
you got it.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to look at their content. Look at the content that they do. I mean, it's something that
Yeah.
Corporate America, I would say, people in that position. Oh, it's hip hop. I don't know. You know what I mean? So they get this impression that it really isn't. If you actually read the book, it's actually it's a really good story. It's a very positive story. It's about, having these powers and having basically the responsibility of having those powers as well. But I think, I'm pretty sure they're still working on it and polishing it. And I know for a fact it's not that. They're still working on it.
Word up. Well, that's what's up, guys. Thank you for rolling with us. Of course, check out Rob Crump. Links down below. Holla at me. We're going to holla at you. Down in the comments. Talk about Rob Crump art that you like, Crumptasticness, all that goodness. And we'll see you later.
From us to you, cheeks.
From us to you. Peace.
Peace and clap cheeks.